Well, it looks like today we have a special guest that won't go away. I think I better get rid of the cat one way or the other. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. A beautiful autumn day, which is a perfect timing for repotting trees because especially for deciduous trees like elm tree, in the wintertime they're semi-dormant. Actually, not so much for elm tree. That's my neighbor's cat, and she's very special. She's got a double paw. Now is the best time to repot between now and early spring. You will never kill a tree essentially because there's not much leaf to suck up to evaporate the liquid. So with that in mind, then I'll work on this tree. There's not much to repot it because it's pretty much the design is pretty set. Hello. But I will take it out of the pot to reorient it because I think the bottom, the root can be show off a little bit of the base of the tree and expose more of the roots. So with that in mind, then let me get rid of my neighbor's cat and start to work on the tree. No more, okay. So let me start clipping and let's see. So this is the apex. So this is going to be the apex, the tallest point, because the other one branches a little bit lower. So I'll clip it off right here so they will branch out to give me options. And these I need to get rid of some to accentuate the apex rather than the bottom. And the problem with elm is that there's so much growth right at the junction of the branch. You cannot see where you're going. So you need to peel off excess leaves all the time in order to see where you're going with it. So I think I better get rid of the cat one way or the other, or else we are not going to have a bonsai video. Okay, no more. Come on, let's go. Go, 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 go. Okay. I need to clean off a lot of the branches near the apex so that the apex will become more visible. So for example, this is a beautiful branch, but it's kind of clashing with this. I don't think I need that. Yeah, I guess I can save that by clipping off some of the branch on the side to compete with the top branching, but encourage to grow down. So this will be kind of coming out of this, would not be interfere with the apex. And so that's a kind of a consideration you have to do to accentuate the apex. And in this case, I will probably bend it down a little bit and make this the branch coming down. I think that will be kind of picturesque. And it would then branching out in this way. So instead of wiring, what you can do is you can bend it, twist it a little bit, and pass the yield point so that it will not bounce back much, you see? So this, instead of wiring it, this actually, by bending it, it will stay put. And then this will come up and become the apex. And that makes the apex pretty visible. And instead of cutting this branch off, I did this so that, again, this will be coming down someday. And then you have, this branch is kind of close to this, but so maybe I can do this and get rid of this one. And then try to, like this is kind of like you want it to kind of grow like this. Hey, 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 he's back again. He won't, I think he likes us. He likes the bonsai video. Okay, okay. Sorry about that. I couldn't chase him away. I don't know how. Again, like this branch is pointing up a little bit. So if I bend it, it's okay. I don't need to wire it, you know? Hello. You going to tell me what to do? He's cuckooing, which means he's very happy. I don't know. I don't even feed him, by the way. He's my neighbor's cat. I don't spoil him by feeding him, by bribing him. But he still comes every day, say hello. You see, I twist it. Try to accentuate the curves by clipping off the rest of it. Well, it looks like today we have a special guest that won't go away, even though he's not particularly welcome. My neighbor's cats, he's got a double paw, interesting. If you know story behind the double paw, let me know. So like this tree, this is a branch going this way, which is dominant, which is nice. So you don't want this one to be too tall. So a little bit of feature will be nice because you always want to have an asymmetry. The triangle will be like this way, you see? So then I probably cut off here. You see now it's got this interesting feature going this way. So that's why the deciduous is so nice. As you clip it, you create this interesting turn each time you clip it, and over time you have some really nice, interesting branching, and that shows the age that really cannot be faked. And that's makes the bonsai really valuable in my mind because that shows the age and the amount of effort, the creativity went into it. And that's why we always say, create your heirloom, because that's what it is. People remember you by the features you put into the tree. And the tree is a, I guess, memorial of what you left on this earth. So this will be really quick. I'm just going to quick cleaning up the branches so you can see where it's going. And then I'll take it out quickly to reorient the tree, not so much to work on the roots, but it's really to reorient it to show off the rootage a little bit better. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's what you see is to be like today. And then 3 to 6 months from now, the tree will grow to say, nature, I'm the nature. I want a tree to look this way. Now what do you think? And then you can clip it again. So this way, it's a harnessing or a harmonizing between you and the nature to create a tree to your liking. So look at this tree. So you can see this is a pretty respectable Moyogi, which is essentially an informal upright with branches coming out, whereas a formal upright is straight up with almost branches almost of the similar diameter coming out. So you can see this is a pretty good tree. And the history I forgot to mention is that it was just a random Chinese elm, not particularly of any variety. I think it's may very well possibly be Catlin elm. And I planted it in the ground and it grew. And then I chopped it to reduce to get the taper and the branching, and eventually becomes that. So I think it's a pretty respectable tree. And then what is the next fine tuning? What I would do is I'll take it out of the pot. You can see I don't do the tie wire, so it's really easy to come out. Anyway, you can see the roots grow out and pretty much clipped. It's not going round and round. There's a little bit of that around the pot. So what I can do is that I can now cut off this mesh, and it's already root pruned so that there will be a lot of fibrous roots inside. The tree is really healthy with essentially my standard mix. You can see how much roots there is. The tree is growing, I hate to say that, but it's growing crazy. You see the roots gets pruned and very easy to break off instead of the heavy roots that are all tied up, wound up, bound up. And I can put that right back, and you see this is all good. Maybe just clip off a little bit of the, the few big ones. Then I'm all done. You see? So now let's take a look at this tree. This is a good pot for it. So I'm not going to mess around with finding another pot. But you can see this side's actually got a real nice rootage. And here instead I use this as the front, which is nice rootage too. So what I need to do is to comb out this to see what's really underneath of it that's optimized for the display of the tree. And you can see with my mix, moss are growing. It's not raining season yet, not a lot, but still you can see that's I have inoculated it. so that it will have the nice moss when it rains. It will be just beautiful like a lawn in front of an elm tree. So I want to come out the roots and to see what looks interesting. So for example, this is a really nice root, but you know, why would I have a root sticking out from the top? So now, for example, just for the heck of it, I will show you what I do. Is if I clip this here, right, and I leave it alone for now, you will have a real nice shohin growing, and you can, when it's all leaves and comes out, you pull it off, you put it in a little pot, you got another bonsai. So elm is very easy because you can do root cutting. So you can see how I was very rough with the cuts, and yet they heal over so nicely and so naturally, rather than trying to plug it up and all that. Takes a lot of effort, but it really doesn't work. As I'm cleaning up, I can see this root is fairly easy to come up, and in fact, it's connected to even more roots. But the other root I will save because it's coming out of the trunk. Looks pretty nice, so they'll be part of the design. But you can see this root, if I put it in a bonsai pot and do a little bit of twisting and angling, you'll have a nice shohin. I will cut off one of these two branches, but I'll play with it and I'll show you the result at the end. And it's really a shame to see a very, very old bonsai with the roots actually basically all screwed up. And I'd rather do it at this stage, still a few more years. In a sense, I still like to think that this tree is now 20 years old. It can become a 50-year-old tree and still got a long life ahead of it. I'd rather be very drastic and try to make the roots right, come out right, so they would not be all twisted and wind up and all that when they are old, and then you cannot correct it anymore. So like this branch, I cut off the other one here, but this one I think I should save. And in fact, while it's still young, I will try to bend it this way. You see, so it's coming out this way instead of all of a sudden go that way. And when this root come to this size, it will rhyme very nicely with the tree to look right. So, the bonsai you get from us may look the same as anybody else's, but the subtlety that will go with it, that enables them to become your heirloom. So look at this. Now this root is coming out this way, and what I will do is I'll get rid of the soil here. See, this is actually very nice long roots. You see? So what I will do is I'll take it out and put it here and let it grow down. This way it's a nice big roots someday to make the tree look nice. And again, this one is a little bit off, so let me cut it off. I don't need it because otherwise it takes over, it looks lousy. And then this one here, you see this is kind of okay. And then this one looks okay, I'm not sure. But the likelihood is that these two are coming from the bottom. This one, there's nothing aside from this side growing. So I will actually cut it off to encourage the other part to grow. And you will see these clippers are pretty nice. I don't want this to be a lump here. When it gets old, it will look old and lumpy and ugly, and there's no natural explanation why it's there. And the point is that you want everything conform to what nature normally does. You see, so now these two roots will come out. Someday it will come out this way and thicken. These two will fuse into a nice thick root. And this one will also come out as a nice thick root. Maybe I'll cut it off down there to make it go that way. But all in due time, you gotta pay attention to the details, not just stuck a tree in a pot and then the roots are curling around and all wind up and fused to something ugly that you cannot do anything about. So now let me look at this tree. Well, I think this is a pretty good front, but this thing kind of stick into my face. So this is probably going to be likely to be the good front. So if I twist the tree a little bit this way, You can see this lump is interesting. This lump is kind of interesting. This is interesting. This would be my front. And with this front end, I need to push the tree back to give it more room at the front. In some sense, I'm now making the back side the front side. So with that in mind, then I just put it back in the pot to show you roughly what it would look like. Sometimes you have no choice but cut off some of the roots to fit the pot because that's your design. Again, this time of the year, you cannot kill famous last word, you cannot kill a deciduous tree. And so now's the time to take the drastic cut, the brutal cut that people hate, but that's how you make an interesting bonsai. So let me try to put it back in the pot and see what orientation that works the best. And together we can decide. And if you disagree, you can write to me angrily, and I will see if I can comply. So this will be my choice of the front. Given that this is the front, I think this tree needs to be a little bit more to that side. So what I had to do is to cut off or comb out a little bit more of this soil to fit the pot. And I want to be careful not to kill off that branch because I'm counting on that root to thicken to become part of the dominant part of this design. So I'll try to bury it rather than cut it short so that it will fatten up quickly. Like this part, I have no choice but to cut it off because it's sticking out. And this part, I will actually bury it so that this part will thicken quickly. So I'll put it almost exactly at this angle. You can see even the roots got some depth down here and up here. And then this got a triangle. So that's the design, that's the repotting. That little bit of subtle differences, I hope it made a difference. And maybe if I want to show a little bit more of this, I'll twist a little bit more. A little subtlety makes a big difference. Now you can see this part more, and this part goes back. You expect it to be going back, and then that's how I fill the dirt. And then I put the moss over here, so it'll be nice green lawn up front, give it more space out front. In some sense, I push the tree back to give it more in the front. In summary, this tree was planted in the ground about 20 years ago from a cutting. I've been cutting it drastically here and there to create a taper and then the orientation. This is called Moyogi style. You can see this is the apex. I reduced it from the height to this height. And then I reoriented to show and work on the roots a little bit to make sure the roots will look okay. So with that in mind, then that's all the video, and I would work on this tree to pot it nicely. And let me show you all around as I turn it. And it's actually good in many different angles. And you can see the traditional asymmetry triangle. And you can see the rootage is very wide. This is an old tree. But you know, Chinese elm grow very quickly. So if you buy a small, a couple $300 tree, and you grow it, and then you can put it back in the ground and let it grow, someday you will have magnificent heirloom. So that's the purpose. That's the name heirloom, bonsai heirloom. So that's it.